Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
Yeah,
it. My name is Mr. Fingers. If it is your first time tuning in, welcome to this episode, man. And today we have an amazing guest. I'm super honored to be having him. I've been chatting to him on TikTok for a while now. He's also in my space. I'm very honored to be having a member of the family in cybersecurity to be here. And he's going to be sharing his nuggets because he shares a lot on TikTok in terms of cybersecurity, how you can get into cybersecurity and everything. But today we're going to be breaking down a couple of things about cybersecurity. This guy, he's been in the industry for a while, not only obviously in cybersecurity, but also in the IT industry. So he's going to break it down in terms of how to get it into cybersecurity, what's needed, what's the do's and what's the don't. He's a very special guest of mine today. So I don't think he needs much of an introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Teboho. Tebs, how you been, man?
sure. No, I'm good, my brother. I'm happy to be here to share knowledge and yeah, to also learn. I'm also a learner. So yeah, I'm happy to be here, my brother. Thanks for the invite as well.
Yeah, man, I really love your attitude and I love your content. Let me just start from that. And I think I always praise you every time because I love how you share and break like hard concepts and you make them
Yeah,
simple, you know. And
yeah,
that's something for me I really admire about what you're doing. But I think I want to talk more in terms of you come from an IT background and you were working
sure.
obviously in the technical side of things of IT, and now you're
Sure.
working more in the security space. How was that transition for you?
Okay, I'll be honest. I started in the help desk, but my initial goal when I started in the help desk department was to move to the system administration department to go into cloud. So that's why I was studying things like Linux because I wanted to learn more about the cloud industry. So while I was doing help desk, an opportunity came along. There was a post advertised in the company that I work for in the cybersecurity department. So I just applied, but to be honest, I had this imposter syndrome. I wasn't sure if I was qualified. I knew I had some of the things that they needed, but eventually I just applied. And yeah, so they decided to take me, and here we are now. So I'm part of the cybersecurity department. But initially, it was not my first goal. My first goal was to go to the cloud engineering space.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
whenever an
I,
opportunity comes along, you must just jump,
yeah, I mean, you're not alone. I can relate to what you're saying because my goal, funny thing is, my
Yeah,
goal, I
yeah,
wanted to go into compliance, and I ended up
yeah.
getting an opportunity to work in the technical side of things, and I was like, damn. So I can relate
Yeah.
to what you're saying because I also had imposter syndrome when I was starting. I think being scared, it's one of the things which I
Mm,
had, but I was like, you know what? It's just all about building confidence and knowing what is required from me and learning as much as I can because as you were saying, it's important to be a
mm,
learner every single day in what you're doing, you
sure.
know.
No, I just wanted to say that this thing of job requirements, it shouldn't turn people off when they see that they don't have or the whole requirements that they're asking for on the job advert. So just if you see that you have some of the things, just apply, take a chance. You never know.
That's
Yeah.
so true, man. That's so true. Because you see some of these job requirements, they want people who have 10 years experience. And you're looking at it, you're like,
Mm,
how? 10 years. And that's what I was talking about even yesterday. I was like, um, I see some of these jobs when they say 10 years experience, all these things. And I've
mm,
noticed that if you've got the skills, apply.
yeah.
If you've got
Yeah.
the skills, apply because we get discouraged in terms of if, for example, they want a certain certificate or certification, which we'll
Mm,
talk about,
mm,
and we don't have
mm,
that, but we have the experience that they want, we have the knowledge that they want, we have the skills that they want, but we don't have those certificates, and we end up being discouraged. I want to
yeah.
talk more now, I think, about um, the imposter syndrome in working in cybersecurity. And I'm sure you've seen it in the people that you work with currently right now. Like,
Yeah.
how is it
Yeah.
how is it important for you to feel motivated and to have courage in what you're doing?
Uh, you know, you're right. Right now, there are some people who I'm working with. I can tell you these people, they know so much. I think they are qualified to go to the next step, but they have that imposter syndrome that you're talking about. There's this one guy, he knows so much. He can be like an architect or even a CISO, but he's not, I think his mindset is not yet there. So for myself, I'm just motivated by like watching other people move, or the people who I started with. I mean, they started at help desk at the same time, but to see where they are, I'm like, we were on the same place and look at where they are. I mean, I can also get to the same place where they are right now. So it's not it's not easy when you don't have a mentor or when you don't have somebody who has done it before. I think the
Yeah,
best thing you can do is find yourself a mentor or somebody who's
it's done it
where
before.
you want to be. Learn from them. I think
Mm.
that's gonna help you. That's really gonna help you.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
perfect
So I
sense.
think it's gonna save you a lot of time. The mistakes, you don't have to make a lot of mistakes. You can learn from someone else's mistakes, if I can say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but how's important it is a mentor if especially if you're starting out in this space. Like, I'll give you a great example. Maybe I'm a person who has never worked in IT before, but I want to transition into
Mm, mm,
cybersecurity. How
mm.
important do you think a mentor is?
Yeah, a mentor is like somebody who has done a lot of things, who's got so much knowledge, they can pass it on to you. Like you can get to those positions much quicker because of what they went through. They can give it to you. It's like a mentor is like, it's a quicker way of getting where you want to be, basically. You don't have to
Yeah.
stumble so much on your own, wasting time. It saves you a lot of time. It's somebody
Yeah,
who can
but
give you those answers that you need. Yeah.
yeah, I think just to add on to what you're saying, because I like what you're saying as well, because I think I was talking about it yesterday as well. To even one of my friends on the phone, where I was like to him, when you want a person to mentor you or you're looking for a mentor, you yourself have to know what you want because now you're
Mm,
giving the mentor direction. Because if you come into a mentor, you're like, Debs, I want you to be my mentor. And then you
yeah,
obviously going to ask me, what is that you need me to help you with? Am I correct? And then
that
if
is
I tell
true.
you I don't know, are you going to be able
Mm,
to mentor me if I tell you that I come to you
yeah,
like I don't know?
yeah. You definitely you have to do some research from your side to show that where do you want to go, even if you don't know exactly, but at least give them a bit of light of what you want. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
that I can be able to direct you correctly as as your mentor to show you that okay, you can take this road, you can do this and that. But if you're just saying I want to be in cybersecurity, but you're not really saying a lot, there's so much that you can do in cybersecurity. Am I the right mentor for you in the cybersecurity space? Maybe I'm not, because there's so many different roles that you can go into. So at least
Yeah.
do some research, find out what is your strength or what do you like, what are you good at. I think that will give you a good direction.
Yeah, and I love how you just broke it down, you know. You see, great minds think alike. Uh,
That's great. Yeah.
there's actually something which I want us to talk more about, you know, for people transitioning and wanting to come into cybersecurity. Like, what advice would you give to
Mm,
somebody right now who's sitting, listening to us, having a conversation? Obviously, we are in cybersecurity right now, but now that
yeah.
person, for example, and I've seen that you also probably get those DMs where people are asking you, in terms of, I don't
Mm,
have an
a
IT
lot.
experience, I don't have an IT background.
Mm,
Maybe I'm 40 years old, 30 years
mm,
old, 20 years old, but I want to jump into
mm,
cybersecurity. Where should I
mm.
start?
The thing is, the basics. I get a lot of DMs, messages from people. A lot of people want to start with the basics, and it's going to be so hard if you don't start with the foundation. So I would advise people to start with the basics. You know, A plus, N plus, Security plus. They're going to give you so much foundation. Like when you go into the cyber, you're going to refer to some of those skills or knowledge that you got during your basics years. For example, right now, I'm in cybersecurity, but I'm still referring to some of the things I learned in networking plus. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But if you skip those steps, it's gonna be so much harder. Like you're gonna struggle. So I would advise. anyone wants to get into the industry, you have to start with the basics. You don't have to start at help desk like I did, but some form of IT, any IT, so that you can
Yeah.
get some of those basic skills and then you can move on. You'll be able to understand much better when you're in the cybersecurity industry. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because I think I was talking to somebody 2 weeks ago, and this person I gotten to understand when I was getting to know them that they have no basic knowledge and they don't know how to use a computer. And I told them
Mm,
directly, I was like, you're gonna struggle getting to cybersecurity because you have no basic knowledge of understanding how a computer works. That's the first mistake that you've made.
mm,
But don't worry,
yeah.
everything is teachable. So you can learn the basics
Mm,
of learning how a computer works. It's simple. So I literally told them, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I told them like learn the basics of a computer because
mm,
it's taking you a while to learn that. And take your time. You are not
yeah.
here to be in a rush because sometimes we're looking at time like everybody's doing this in 6 months and all these things. I'm like, take your time
Mm,
because at the end of the
mm,
day, you don't want to learn something and then you get somewhere maybe after 2 or 3 months you're like, Ish, I don't remember anything which I just learned in the last past months, and that's also very
I,
sad, you know.
I have a question on that one. What do you
Yeah.
think about the boot camps that gives 6 months cybersecurity experience? Because 6 months is so short for cybersecurity. Guys, 6 months
Okay,
is so little.
okay. I'm gonna be honest with you, right?
Yeah,
My thing on boot camps, 6 months for cybersecurity, and because
yeah,
first of all, it's 6 months is short. Cybersecurity,
yeah.
there's a lot of topics you need to learn. First of all, you need to get the foundations right of IT.
Mm,
Those are the
mm,
foundations that you know. They need to teach you those basics, basic stuff, networking stuff,
mm,
basic stuff of DNS, knowing how to do all these things. Like you have to know the basics. And you can't know everything in 6 months' time. It's really hard because it will end up being overwhelming. Number one,
yeah,
you'll be overwhelmed. You've seen it. You
yeah,
become overwhelmed and so much information. You're like, I can't do this anymore. There's so much things to do. And when would you get time to be able to study in 6 months? You
exactly.
know? But that's my opinion. And yeah, I think also we have to be careful of when they say you get a job after 6 months, and
Yes,
it's
yeah,
that is something really hard because you can't get a job after 6 months. Being trying to put your foot in cybersecurity is very hard. It's super hard. I mean,
yeah,
we can testify to this because we both know that even people who are in the cybersecurity game, but they're trying to change jobs, even for them, sometimes it's
mm,
very hard transitioning to
right, mm,
different companies because putting your foot out there in cybersecurity, it's so hard. And we
mm,
make it look easy from outside, but it's so hard, especially if you don't come from a cybersecurity background. But
mm.
that's my opinion. What's your opinion, bro?
My opinion is that those 6 months boot camps are for people who are already in the industry. They've had experience. They understand the IT concepts. They've had the skills, maybe it's some of the certificates. So it will be much better for them to take those boot camps. But somebody new, I don't think that's a good idea, really.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
also sometimes they promise you that you'll be guaranteed a job after 6 months. I don't think that's just marketing, if I'm honest. That's just marketing. That's not going to happen. So yeah, if you're more advanced and you're already working in the IT, sure, you can do that 6 months to learn to gain those skills or those the certificates. But yeah,
But
that's my
but how long
opinion.
do you think a person should have in terms of learning, especially if you don't come from, if you're trying to learn cybersecurity and you want to get into cybersecurity, how long do you think a person should actually put aside for them to learn simple basic stuff?
Give yourself 12 months to learn the basics. 12 months, that's a start, just to learn the
Yeah.
basics. Yeah, I think you put yourself in a better position. You understand, you won't skip all the steps. So I think 12 months is good enough for basics. A
I
plus,
like that
N plus,
answer.
security plus, I think that's better.
Yo, I like that answer. And you are so clear, Velo. One year, really. That's true. It's a lot.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
overwhelming because it gets
Yeah.
so overwhelming. I think um even I'm sure you also get those DMs where people are telling you that they want to be ethical hackers. Even people were telling me that they want to be ethical hackers, and I sometimes tell them as well. I'm being honest because most of them they start using tools and then they're like, I've used this tool and all this, and I'm like, all right, cool. Explain to me what's that tool for? And they don't know
Yeah.
what the tool was for. And I was like, that's very important. You don't just use a tool that you don't understand. And
Yeah.
you have to have a background understanding on the certain tool because everybody wants to be something there, but they skip, as you were saying, certain steps. And you mustn't skip the basic steps because when you skip the basic steps, you end up not understanding. I'm
They'll
same
catch up.
like you. I also go
They'll
back
catch
to
up
my
with
to
you.
my drawing book. Mm,
Yeah, if you skip steps, they will catch up with you. You'll
bro,
be projects where you have to do certain things. Those projects might require some basic knowledge, and you don't have it. You
bro,
won't be able to deliver. So I will never
bro.
advise anyone
I
to
was
skip.
talking to a friend who works in the SOC, and they were telling me that they're struggling with understanding some alerts. And that's the thing, and he was telling me right now he wants to go back to the drawing board and he wants to go study networking. And I love the fact that such a person admits that they've skipped the steps and they were just waving through
Mhm.
everything and just making sure they want to get certification and get jobs and boom. And they just wanted to pass an interview now. But now they're telling me that, yo, dude,
Yeah,
after so many years, I want to go back and go study networking properly, understand it, know it from the back of my head because I am struggling understanding the simple basics of certain things. And I was like, that's good when you admit such things because that takes bravery as well, and that's
yeah,
not easy, you know.
yeah.
But let's walk through the different cybersecurity roles in terms of there are technical roles, there are non-technical roles. What's the difference between the two?
Uh, yeah. So there's so many roles in cybersecurity. So I wasn't aware as well before I jumped in. So once I was in, I found out that, oh, there's compliance. There's, okay, I had this idea that cybersecurity is just technical. You just go in there, you look out for hackers, and that's it. That's what cybersecurity is. But once I was in, then I found out that, oh, you can also be a data protection officer, someone who creates the policies in cybersecurity space. You can be someone who comes up with the compliance. So you have to make sure that the company is complying with the laws. And there's so many things. There's cyber law, there's forensics, there's amen. Like cybersecurity is so vast. Like and
Yes.
even the qualifications that you have to do, they differ.
Yeah, that's so true. They do differ. There's
Somebody
a
can come
lot.
from a law background and they can get into
Mm,
cybersecurity. Yeah. Somebody can come from maybe they're working in the finance industry as a compliance officer. I work with someone right now. She used to work in a bank and now she's in cyber. She's a data privacy officer. She's the person who comes up with all the policies for the company to comply with all the regulations because cyber has regulations in it. You don't just do as you want. You have to comply. Otherwise, you can put the company in a lot of trouble if you don't comply. So there's a lot of things. So if you know, but like I said from the beginning, you have to know what you're good at and what you like. Some people are very good in technical things. Some people are very good in reading and writing, doing reports. And that I think once you find and your weaknesses, then you know which direction to go into and exactly what to study. So yeah, I think that's my opinion on that one.
nice one. So take us through your role at this current moment. What is that you do on the simple basics, and how does your day to day go about? Because I know in different days it works
Mm,
differently.
mm. So I was hired for something called DLP specialist. For those who are going to watch this, DLP stands for Data Leakage Prevention. It just means that I look after the company's data so that it's not leaked outside to external parties, or it's not stolen by someone from inside the company and then taken out. So I have to protect the data or the company's data. I have to make sure that it's only accessible to the relevant people. And yeah, so I was hired for that, to look after that data. But
Yeah.
right now, my role has been transitioned. I'm doing way more than what I was hired for. I think most IT people they experience what I'm talking about. You're hired for one specific thing, but you end up doing many other things.
You wear many hats.
So yeah, basically. So I look on a daily basis. I look after alerts for data breaches, email security. I look out for, if you know what's a phishing mail. For those of you who don't know what a phishing is, I have to protect the company from mails that are used to solicit company data. So phishing mail basically just means a fake email that is made to look legitimate. So I look after email security. I look after websites, web security. So, and also I look after, I deal with MDM. So those of you who don't know what MDM is, it's mobile device management. As you know, companies use a lot of cell phones. So we have to look after the company cell phones and secure them. So I look after, yeah, a lot of things, man. So my day is alerts, tickets that are logged, any security related tickets, and yeah, and I also do a lot of training. I have to train users as well on security awareness. So in the cybersecurity industry, you have to be good at communication, speaking, because you're going to do a lot of presenting sometimes. And yeah, so those are some of the things that I do on a daily basis.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really like that. Your role is a lot, and I can relate when you say you get to wear many hats because I also
Hmm.
wear a lot of hats as well in my role as well.
Hmm.
But take us through in terms of what is from here, what is your goal?
Mm.
Obviously, because I know sometimes, you know, especially when we're starting out in cybersecurity, we had a goal of being something else. And then once we're inside, we're
Yeah.
like, I probably still want to be in the same role, but somewhere in senior or maybe doing something different. But what is
Yeah.
your end goal currently right now in the next 3 to 4 years?
Yeah. Yeah. So since I work for a global company, so I have this goal of working overseas, but not really staying there, being based here, because right now I am working with someone who is like working for the, because we have branches all over the world. So right now this person, she's working for the branch in Dubai, but she's still based here, and then she travels back and forth. I think it's a good thing that you get to work in a different environment. And obviously, the big motivator, the money, obviously, she gets paid by the Dubai currency, but she's still based here. So you can imagine how that will change your life. Yeah. So my next step that I want to see myself is working for overseas, um, becoming a senior cybersecurity analyst. I think there's a lot more that I still need to learn, because the industry is changing so much. Though. I mean,
It is,
there's
bro.
AI. So with AI comes different set of things, different set of attacks. You know, so I mean, yeah, the possibilities are endless. So the next step, senior cybersecurity analyst, and obviously working overseas.
Before we close it off, let me challenge you with this. What's the worst thing or worst
Mm,
attack that's or malware or you have seen or come about or
mm,
something which you've come about in terms of the digital,
mm,
not digital, the difficult task that you were tasked with and you were like, yo, since you've been on this new role, that you were like,
mm.
yo, this is tough, or you've seen malware or something where you're like, yo, I've never seen this before.
I think the toughest thing that I've or maybe that I've went through, is that this position that I'm doing now, it's a new position. It never existed before in the company that I work for here in South Africa. So there was no one to learn from. I had to go and do my own research. I had to go and find out myself. And remember, the person who hired me knew all of this, but they are giving you like tasks and they want you to deliver. So it puts you in a position where you have to learn how to be self-reliant. You know, there's nobody
Mm,
here who can hold your hand and show you like this is how you do it, this is what you must do. So I think it brought a side that I never knew that I had. So I had to do a lot of research. I had to contact like vendors. I had to phone people from overseas to try and figure out, how do we do this? Because
mm,
it was a, like I said, new position. So it proved to me that, you can really achieve anything if even if you don't have somebody close to you who can really show you, but you can really achieve, um, you can really be good at something. It forces you to go and do a lot of research and asking a lot of questions. So, like, don't be afraid to ask questions. That's one thing I'm going to tell people. Don't be afraid to go and ask questions when you are in cybersecurity. So, yeah, I think that was the challenging position because I had never been in a position where there's no one who can show me the blueprint. It's like, yeah, just like the first time. So yeah,
nice, man.
that was the most challenging thing I've experienced when I got into the industry.
Nice. And then what advice, just closing it off now, what advice would you give to anybody who wants to transition into cybersecurity? And do you think cybersecurity has an age limit?
Um, Anybody who wants to join the cybersecurity should, I'll emphasize communication. You should know how to speak with different people, different from like people who are executives and people who are on the same level as you, because you will encounter situations where you need to translate all those technical jargons. You're gonna have to use simple English. I mean,
Mm,
if I'm speaking to you, I can speak about DNS, I can speak about this so that you'll understand. But most people who are not in the industry do not understand all of that technical jargon. So I think a lot of guys who are in tech, we just need to learn how to communicate with different people. So anybody who wants to join, and just know that you have to learn, you have to research. If you know that you're a person who does not like learning, researching, I would advise that you can't make it in cybersecurity. You have to be willing to always learn and research, you know, because
mm,
technology changes every day. Now there's AI. I'm gonna have to go and learn about AI cybersecurity. How is it going to impact cybersecurity? You know,
that's true.
so
True.
yeah, be willing to always ask questions. You can never say I know everything in cybersecurity. Nobody knows everything. Anyone who tells you they know everything, they're lying. It's impossible to know everything in cybersecurity. So yeah, those are the main three things I can think of.
100%, man. Nah, thank you so much, Tips, for making time, man. This was a very insightful conversation that we've been having. And I feel like
Yeah,
and you on the side will still be having a lot of conversation on the side.
sure,
And
sure,
yeah,
sure.
people know where to find you. People will get you on TikTok. People will get you on Instagram as well. And also they can also check out your YouTube channel as well, which you're always dropping nuggets and also interesting facts about cybersecurity. Really appreciate it, man.